Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 10 and The Walking Dead in general because it is almost the end of July, and July has been a pretty awesome month for The Walking Dead. You know, we got The Walking Dead Season 10 trailer, we got the Rick Grimes teaser trailer, we got a bunch of news at Comic-Con, our first look at the new series coming next year in 2020. So it's been a pretty awesome month for The Walking Dead, and I asked you guys on my community section of the channel to leave any questions you have about any of those in there, because today we're going to be doing a Q&A, and you guys send in some questions, so we're going to be answering them in this video today, and then you guys in the comments down below can answer them as well, because these are all, you know, Walking Dead related questions, so I'm interested for your input as well, so be sure to answer them in the comments down below. But with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so the first question comes in from Kelly Love, who two questions. So the first one says, I have a question regarding the new series. I heard the lead girl is or could be Daryl's daughter. What do you think? With The Walking Dead still going on, I guess it would be impossible depending on how far in the future the new series takes place. Well, that's a very interesting theory, and well, I mean, I guess it's not impossible because, I mean, it's hard to line up the timelines, but Daryl's like in his late 40s. That girl is probably in her late teens, early 20s, so it isn't like impossible, but I don't know. I mean, that would be a big twist if Daryl somehow has a daughter. And this kind of ties in with your next question, which is, could these survivors be related to The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead characters? And again, I mean, it's hard because they're saying it's going to be the first generation born into the apocalypse. And who knows, maybe, you know, they could be related to somebody, you know. I mean, Daryl could have a daughter he doesn't know about, who knows. So nothing is out of the question. It's like impossible, but I don't think it has really anything to do with the story. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like a big twist or anything like that. It would be like a little cool thing, like, you know how they sent off Morgan to Fear the Walking Dead. Like, there could be a connection to the main show. One of these characters could somehow have a connection to the main characters, but I don't think that's what the driving force of the story is gonna be like. So I don't think it's gonna be that important. So could it be? Yeah, but I don't think it's that important. Thank you for sending in those questions. Good questions. I mean, with a character like Daryl, who's probably gonna be on the show until the very end, anything is possible, and I think that would be interesting. You guys let me know. Do you think that's possible? But with that being said, moving on to the next question, which comes in from Brian Acom, who says, if Michonne, Daryl, and the rest reunite with Rick in the third movie, won't the show have to end? That's a tricky question because the show, well, it doesn't have to end because they can come back to the show, but I think the show will end when everybody reunites. Because I don't know if they're ever going to solve the cure, or, you know, I don't know if the world is ever going to get fixed. I mean, it could, but if they ever want to end the show, at least the characters need to have a happy ending, you know? And I think that happy ending would be everybody reuniting. And it could work out to be in the final Rick Grimes movie, or Rick could come back to the final season. But yeah, I do think I mean, it doesn't have to end, but I think it'll be smart to end it in that way. And the final Rick Grimes movie isn't probably going to come out until, like, you know, when The Walking Dead is maybe like season 12 or 13, and that's probably a good stopping point anyway. So I do think, I mean, this is my opinion, I do think it should end with the third movie, but it doesn't have to. The next question comes in from Akil Croston, who says, who do you think is going to die this season? Now, I actually think a lot of characters are going to die this season because of the Whisper War, like a lot of secondary characters. But in terms of like major characters, which I'm sure is what you're referring to, I would say, like, just some quick predictions off the top of my head. I have a feeling that Ezekiel might die because he is on borrowed time. He survived the Pikes. He's been having a lot of character issues in terms of relationships. I wouldn't be surprised if Ezekiel ends up dying this season during the Whisper War, possibly saving Carol, who knows. Another character I have a bad feeling about for some reason is Aaron, only because Aaron's been in the show for a long time now, but they haven't even been using him that much, you know? Like, I still feel like Aaron's a secondary character, even though he shouldn't be. I don't know why. But those two, like, in terms of major characters, I would say, like, Ezekiel and Aaron might end up dying during the Whisper War. And then probably, like, a bunch of secondary characters. You guys let me know who do you think is going to die during the Whisper War. But for me, I do think those two, those would probably be the top of my list for predictions. The next question comes in from Sasha Eller, who says, what do you think about the theory that Gamma could be Winnie? Greetings from Germany. Well, thank you for sending in that question. And yeah, I've heard about that theory, and I do like it. That would be interesting. You know, we don't know what happened to Winnie, and also Winnie has a connection with Michonne, as we know. And in the trailer, we saw Gamma face to face with Michonne. So if obviously some time has skipped, so she's gonna look a lot different because she was very young. But yeah, if you know Winnie does remember Michonne, maybe Michonne doesn't recognize her at first or something. And you know when he talks about the past, that would be pretty cool. So I would, I'm in favor of that theory. I think that would be pretty cool. And then Sasha also sent in a second question. It was, do you think Alicia could have a slow death because of the blood from the radiation walker? Now this is a really good question because I was thinking about this because because we don't know we don't know how much she got exposed to. Grace said that Grace helped her out, but again, like we don't know exactly how this is gonna play out, and it could be that she could have a slow death, and maybe sometime in the future, she ends up dying because of it. But the only problem I have with that is, let's say they kill her, let's say for example it happens in season 6. Alicia randomly dies because of the radiation in season 6. Fans are not gonna buy that. Fans are gonna be really upset about it. I mean, it technically makes sense because radiation could lead to a slow death because she got exposed to it. But the only problem with that is that I just don't think it's gonna sit well with fans. I don't think them as filmmakers, they would want to do that. So I do think it's definitely possible, and it's a very interesting theory, but I wouldn't bet on it. Thanks for sending in those questions. The next one comes in from Martin Carrillo, who says, do you think that the Whisperers or a horde of zombies raid Alexandria since Alpha said that in season 9? Cool content, man. Love it. Thank you so much for the support, Martin. I do appreciate it. And to answer your question, I do think they are going to come to Alexandria. I think the Whisperers will come to Alexandria, and it definitely is possible for them to bring a horde of zombies, and I think they will if Alpha figures out that they crossed their border. And she most likely will figure out, because there is going to be a Whisper War going on this season. So, Alpha, I don't think Alpha is, the type of person to be bluffing. So I actually do think that, yes, I do think she's going to bring a horde of zombies and a bunch of Whispers to Alexandria. And, I don't think Alexandria is going to get destroyed again like it did during All Out War. I mean, it could, but I do think it's going to cause some issues because you can't tell a difference between a Whisperer and a Walker. It's very tough. And again, I do think Alpha's going to stay true to her word, and she's going to bring them over. Thank you for sending in that question, Martin. The next one comes in from Tammy Hillhouse, who says, if Michonne is going to the Walking Dead Rick Grimes movies, why do you think she will decide to look for Rick again? Info from a letter, radio, or etc.? Who else, if anyone, do you think may or may not travel with her, and why? That is an awesome question. Very detailed. I like that. Thank you for sending that in. And to answer it, I do think that Michonne will leave because, or at least, yeah, that's what I kind of think, a radio. Because Georgie's the one who's sending the letters, and Rick isn't with Georgie, so I don't think that's going to happen. And I do think that, Michonne is going to get some sort of indication that Rick is alive through the radio, and then she's going to go out and look for him. And I think she's going to take RJ with her. I don't think she's going to take Judith, only because Judith, they just brought on a new actress to play Judith. She's doing a pretty good job, so I don't think there is any reason to replace her. Or not replace her, but just send her off because Michonne is leaving. So I think she's going to take RJ because RJ is still very young. And I think those two are going to go look for Rick. Again, thank you for sending in those questions, Tammy. The next one comes in from Vanessa. We have a couple questions here. The first one says, do you think Lauren is coming back to The Walking Dead? Nothing has been confirmed as well. Yeah, nothing has been confirmed just yet, but I do think she's going to come back, I feel like if the show ends without her coming back at all, that'll be just way too incomplete. And they already have plans for the return. I'm sure they're gonna figure it out, and I'm sure she's gonna be back sometime. Her next question is, now that Michonne is with Ezekiel, do you think as fans we are wrong about her leaving to find Rick? Maybe she is just leaving the show. Nothing has been confirmed behind the scenes about her going to the movies. Maybe the Walking Dead trailer was their way of telling us she's just leaving. we have been fooled before. When they told us Carol, Daryl, and Michonne signed a 3-year deal. That is a tough one. Now, I don't know if they ever mentioned Michonne signing a 3-year deal. If they did, I missed it. I know Carol and Daryl, but I don't know about Michonne. But who knows? And also, I don't think just because they signed a contract, they have to be on the show. I'm sure they can leave. I'm sure there's going to be like a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on to break your contract, but I'm sure they are able to leave. But that being said, I still think Michonne could leave to go look for Rick. I do think so, because right now she might be having a tough time and she might be with Ezekiel for a while or something, but I think maybe she's not given up 100%, but maybe she is just super overwhelmed with the Whisper War or something, and Ezekiel's there to comfort her. But I do think if she finds out that Rick is alive, like 100%, like I was talking about before, like maybe through the radio or something, I'm sure she's gonna go look for Rick. She was looking for Rick for a very long time. So I think if she gets some sort of confirmation that Rick's alive, I do think she's gonna go look for him. But that being said, you are absolutely right saying that nothing has been 100% confirmed yet. So yeah, maybe they could totally fool us and Michonne just leaves or ends up getting killed or something. But I wouldn't bet on it, but or at least I'm hoping for her to look for Rick. But that's what I would guess on. The next question is, were you shocked to hear the news Andrew Lincoln is working on another project before the Walking Dead movie? Honestly, I was actually pretty excited hearing that news because I think Andrew Lincoln is a really, really talented actor, and I was excited to see him act in something else besides The Walking Dead. And I don't think it's gonna affect the movie too much. I'm sure there's a lot of planning when it comes to movies. I'm sure they already have a release date in mind. I don't think Andrew Lincoln's other movie is gonna affect it too much or affect it at all. So my initial reaction was I was actually pretty excited to see him in another movie. And then her final question was, are you excited that the Rick movies are going to theaters versus Netflix or AMC? I think it's great. Should have a big budget with lots of action and professional quality effects with a good storyline, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited about this, especially since Universal is distributing. It's a big company right there. It's Universal. So this movie has to have some real good quality. It has to be a pretty, at least a decent budget, compared to the show, and they're gonna make it like a big budget movie, which I'm excited for, and I want to see a Rick Grimes movies in theaters. I'm excited for it. I know some people might not be too happy about going to theaters and stuff like that, but I'm sure it's still gonna come on AMC or Netflix or something. I don't think it's gonna be like only in theaters. It's probably going to be in theaters for a while, and then it's going to move on to Netflix or AMC, but I'm happy to see it in theaters. Thank you for those questions, Vanessa. Real good questions. I do appreciate it. And the final question comes in from Nathan OK, who says, what do you think the title of the new show should be? I'm hoping for something like The World of the Walking Dead. Let me know your thoughts. The World of the Walking Dead is actually a pretty good title because this show is supposed to be taking place in other parts of the world. So, I mean, that would actually make sense. And I do think Walking Dead should be in the title somewhere. If I were to come up with something on the spot, like, I want something like big and meaning, like someone that kind of says like we're in other parts of the world, like maybe The Walking Dead Elsewhere. I don't know. That probably sounds bad, but something like that. You guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think the title should be? If I were to pick one right now, I would say like The Walking Dead Elsewhere. But I do like The World of The Walking Dead too. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for sending in that question, Nathan. And that was the last question we have. So I am going to wrap it up there for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Again, be sure to leave all your thoughts and opinions about the questions in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. And for more Walking Dead videos, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys later.